Hi, my name is Robert Carlton, and I am here to tell you about more examine the poem America by Claude McKay. Claude McKay's America is a very strong poem. The voice of the speaker is a man who is feeling the pressure of living in such a great place called America. I would say, really, that the speaker is, of course, a black man during this time, and his feelings must be quite powerful, and it is conveyed very strongly through this poem. He is speaking to her being in this poem Miss America. He is feeling the oppression of being a black man at his time, as stated. And at the present time, as a young black man myself, I can certainly sympathize with these feelings. As with most of, I'm sure you've seen the news, as George Floyd riots continue, even though in some spaces it has already died down and it's been forgotten, even though it's still being fought tooth and nail to this day. In America, he uses metaphors in calling America a she. Although she feeds me bread and bitterness, she is being likened to a mother feeding her child. But this mother is feeding him harsh conditions and persecuting environments. McKay does not come right out and say this. He does not say this straightforwardly, but he says this with metaphors, and they are very evident. The man in this poem is not receiving love and care from Miss America. The word choices are graphic, harsh, and dark, and very bitter. He says, and sinks into my throat her tiger's mouth, or her tiger's tooth, I'm sorry. The imagery conveyed here is a gruesome picture of America sinking her teeth into the black man's neck. In terms of how things are going right now, I can visualize this very clearly. With the Black Lives Matter movement today and George Floyd's saying of, "I can't breathe," and it becoming a rallying cry for people to stand up nowadays, I can see the great men of civil rights movements who recently passed also, as they fought for black men and women to have rights the same as we do today. It's why just last Tuesday, Representative John Robert Lewis was laid to rest. He fought his whole life alongside Martin Luther King Jr. and C.T. Vivian and many other black people to have equal rights in America. McKay says, "Stealing my breath of life, I will confess." It is a hyperbole because there is an exaggeration there. An exaggerated thought of someone stealing his actual breath, and would later prove true when someone's breath actually was stolen. Why, just a few months ago. What's that, weeks? Time blurs. And he also says, "I love this cultured heck that tests my youth." He uses the true word. I just personally do not feel like saying that word because of my religion. And I actually do question his choice of saying a cultured heck, a cultured Hades, let's say. Because that in and of itself, it being cultured and Hades, is an oxymoron. See, because in my mind, I see him throwing his dagger in the ground and thrusting his chest out and loving what America has to offer in theory, and especially to a black man immigrating at that time. And if he can just hold out and fight the oppression and the prejudice and the hatred and the KKK of that time, which is very rampant, the speaker would love to be an American and probably call himself one and would stay there more often. But the speaker throughout time has traveled throughout the world. Because the speaker definitely has a love-hate relationship with America. He says, "Her vigor flows like tides into my blood, giving me strength erect against her hate. Her bigness sweeps my being like a flood." This relationship is very descriptive. In this particular passage, words such as vigor, erect, and bigness suggest that the man will prevail in America despite her flood of hate. And to which an degree, he does. And the movement does produce some results. Although, much like today, that fight is still being fought. More of a war now at times. And it's still being fought now, tooth and nail today. But we still hope, all of us, that we can survive and live on and see and reach the true dream of the American person coming to America. This is why I like the simple title of America, which is an all-encompassing idea when you think of our place, our homeland of America. See, in terms of sound and structure for McCabe, he has written in a simple Shakespearean sonnet. The rhyme scheme is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG. It is written in iambic pentameter, and there are 14 lines with 10 syllables per line, such as a Shakespearean sonnet. There are 3 quatrains and a couplet. And he also states the problem from the beginning of the poem, and his resolution is stating in the end, evoking such sonnets. In the poem, he states the problem. Yet as a rebel fronts a king in state, I stand within her walls, with not a shred of horror, malice, not a word of jeer. I think one of the themes he's addressing is his powerlessness as a black man of that time in America. He might want to rebel and fight the establishment, but as also stated, darkly I gaze into the days ahead and see her might and granite wonders there. Figuratively, he sees all that America has to offer and does want to be a part of it, but as he darkly gazes, he does note that there is still darkness ahead, even if he were to front this king that is called America in this story. In his resolution, he says, beneath the touch of time's unerring hand, like priceless treasures sinking in sand. And even though he's feeling bitter towards his treatment, he still recognizes the American dream that so many immigrants hope to attain when they immigrate to this great place, this great melting pot called America. Thank you so much for your time. This has been America by Cloud McKay. I hope I have gotten you guys to maybe want to read it up on your own personal time. It's a great one, and I can really empathize with it, especially during these times, and seeing how far and how little we have come as a country. Thank you.